Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new to this channel you are highly welcome. In today's tutorial I will be teaching you how to cut and sew this flowing gown. So the inspiration of this gown is the one by the right, while my outcome is the one playing right now on the screen. So if this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like this video, drop a lovely comment for me in the comment section, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. So without wasting much time, let's get right into the tutorial. For this outfit, I made use of two fabrics. So I made use of a crepe fabric, so which is 1 yard, and this other fabric, which is they call it a bale fabric. This is also like a soft crepe. So I used 3 yards of this other material. So now let's draft the pattern. So this is my pattern right here. So this is the shoulder, the armhole, the bust. So for the armhole, I've already drawn out my armhole curve. So that's my bust there. So that's my waist, and this is my hip. So the other line at this edge is just 2 inches extension from your hip line. So just measure 2 inches extension from your hip line. So that's what I have there. So the next thing I will be doing now is to measure my bust divided by 4. But before then, let me tell you the measurement I have here. So my armhole is 7, my bust is 9 inches, my waist is 14.5, and my hip is 23.5. So my waist is 15.5 rather, my hip is 23.5, and the extension is 2 inches. So altogether this pattern length is 25.5 inches. So divide your bust into 4, measure your bust divided by 4 at the bust area, and at the waist area you measure your waist divided by 4 also. But because my waist is quite small, so if I do not add that to this, it will be, the pattern will be looking weird. So I want to add that to this. So as the hip area, you measure your hip divided by 4. We are not adding any sewing allowance to this yet because we'll be transferring this to the fabric. So when we are transferring it, we will add the sewing allowance. So as the bust divided by 4, as the waist divided by 4, then you add that allowance. So as the hip, your hip divided by 4, and as this last line here, your hip divided by 4. So if you don't want to add that to yours, you can just keep the that part at the waist area. So for the neckline I will be using, so for the front I use 3x3 neckline, because if you look at the outfit, the neckline is quite small. So I use 3x3 for the front neckline. So 3 inches deep and 3 inches wide. So for my shoulder slope, I've already done the shoulder slope, which is 1 inches below. Because we are making a sleeveless gown, I love to go in by about half to 1 inches at this area, as you can see what I'm doing. So after going inward by half or 1 inches, I will now reconnect my armhole. So I will reconnect this armhole to meet the initial one. Like I said, you can either go inward by half inch or 1 inches. Though I did half inches for mine, but I wish I did 1 inch because the shoulder was still kind of wide. You know, when we are making a sleeveless, when you are making a sleeveless dress or top, the shoulder area must not be too wide. It must go inward a little bit. So that's the essence of that thing. That's half inch or 1 inch will be taken out. So at the waist area, I'll go ahead and mark out my darts. So for this dart, just measure your nipple to nipple divided by 2. So that's the point of the dart. So for the length, I did 6 inches downward, and upward I just did 1 inches. I did 1 inches away from the bust line. So that's the length of the dart. So the next thing I want to take now is the bust dart. So because the difference between my half length for the front and the back is 1 inch, so I'll be taking 1 inches away at this part here. So my front waist is 15.5, while the back is 14.5. So that's why I'm taking 1 inch here. So whatever the difference of yours is, just take it away at this point. So this is the bust dart. So now I'll go ahead and just cut out this pattern. So I should have cut this pattern on fold because of this, because of the curved edge. You know, the edge over there is not straight, like on the outfit is not straight, but because I'm managing this pattern paper, so when I cut this out on my fabric, I will do that shape. So just keep watching, I will do that shape. So this is the front bodies, then I'll go ahead and cut the back bodies. For the back bodies, this is my zipper allowance here. So this is the zipper allowance, and for this pattern I went ahead to draw the arm hole curve too. So I will label this pattern for you to see what I have here. So this is my armhole line. This is the waistline, which is 14.5. So this is the hip line, that is 8 inches away from my waist, and that 2 inches is the extension we added to the front also. So this pattern is 1 inch shorter than the front, and that is why I took out the bust that's at the front. That's why I took out 1 inch. So this is 2 inches extension. So now at the armhole area, I'll measure my bust divided by 4. That's after the zipper allowance. Please note that. So at this area too, I'll measure my waist divided by 4. I will add my dart allowance. I will still prevent zip bulging. So I'll still add half inch to that waist, and I will take out half inch at the zipper allowance. So as the hip area, you measure your hip divided by 4 too. And at the extension line, you measure your hip divided by 4. So you connect this like this. So you connect it like this, and this is what you will have. So like I said, I want to prevent zip bulging at the waist area, so I'll just extend this like this. Then I will take in half inch. I'll go inward by half inch, then I will add the half inch back at the waist area. So I'll reshape this side, then I will reshape the zipper side too. So I'll just take in, I will mark out the dart here. So this is what it looks like. So it's like about 6 inches above that waist area and 6 inches below. Just take out, and this is what it looks like. So now for the neckline, before the neckline, let's take our dart. So for the dart, measure your zipper allowance first. You know, we added zipper allowance to this pattern. Then you now measure your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So you note that and you rule a straight line. So upward, I think I measured about 6 inches upward, and downward I measured about 5.5 inches. Then you just take half inch to the right, half inch to the left. Then you have your dart. So this is the dart. And the next thing I will be doing now will be the neckline. So for the neckline, you know, for the front we use 3 by 3. So for this back, we'll use 3 inches wide, and for the depth we'll use just 1 inch. So this is 3 by 1. So 3 inches wide and 1 inches deep. Then you connect your neckline. So guys, if you haven't liked this video, please kindly like this video so that YouTube can recommend this video to the right audience. Thank you so much. So you know, at the front area we took out half inch at this shoulder part, and we reshaped the armhole. So we'll be doing the same too for the back. So if you are taking 1 inch away at the front, you also take 1 inch away at the back. I hope you understand. You know me, I took out half inch, so I will take out half inch at the back too. So now it's time to cut out our pattern. I'll go ahead and cut this pattern out now. So there is this slant shape at the edge at that hip area. So when we are transferring this pattern to the fabric, that is when I will do that shaping. So now I went ahead to cut out my fabric. So I added sewing allowance and half inch at the other side. At the armhole, I just added about not up to half inch. So for the side, I'm using 1 inch for the joining. So before I remove this pattern, let me transfer my darts. So all the darts I have here, so I'll be transferring it. So just put a pin. So this is how I transfer my own darts. So I put the pin across, then I use my shock to mark the point on the fabric. So use a shock that will show on the fabric. So the side dart also, I'm trying to transfer it to. And make sure that when you are transferring, you don't get confused. If you know you'll be confused, make sure you are not confused. Just draw it in such a way that you will not be confused. So with this now, I can identify the side darts and the other darts. So this is the front bodies. Like I said, there's this shaping we need to do at this side. So you determine where you want the shaping to be. So for me, is this the left or the right? Okay, I want it to be at the left. So I went up by 5 inches at the left side. Then I'll be reshaping this. So I just went up by 5 inches at that side. Then I reshaped this, as you can see what I did. So this is what I just did. Then I'll cut this out. So it is this what I cut out that I'll use to cut the back too. So I'll use this one to also cut the back. So let's put the front aside and let's work on the back bodies. So this is the back bodies. I've went ahead to cut it out, and I've also transferred my darts just like I did for the front. So I've transferred the dart. So what I will do now is to pin this side in such a way that it's a 1 inch we use as the zipper allowance. So I'm folding 1 inch on each other like this. So that's what I did. Then I'll be placing the front on it. As you can see that the right side is facing each other. Make sure the right side is facing each other. So if it is not facing each other, the slants will be on different sides. So the right side is facing each other. Then I'll just place this on it just like this. Then I'll just trim the shape out so that the shape can be the same. So this is what the back looks like after cutting. So this is it. As you can see that if you just shape it directly, you will not get this curve that we have there. So that's the essence of pinning it down. So I want to cut out the facing for the front. Please watch closely and see how I'm cutting this facing. For this facing, I want it to capture the armhole and also the neckline. So I'm measuring 2 inches below the armhole at that side. Then I will reshape it. So you see how I will reshape it now. So as you can see, like it is 2 inches like that. So I'm curving it just like this. So this is how I'm curving it instead of cutting it straight. So I'm doing this curve on it. So that is how I want to cut the facing. So I don't want it to be straight, so I want it to be curved like this. So I will also do the same thing too for the back facing. So this is how the facing looks like on it. So when I place it on it, so this is how it looks. So I'll go ahead now and cut for the back also. So this is the one I cut for the back, and this is how this one also looks. This is how it is 2 inches below this armhole line. Then I just curved it like that. So now it's time to join. So I'll be joining the facing separately and the main bodies separately. So I'll be joining the main bodies at the shoulder. Then I'll also go ahead and take all the darts that I've measured on it. So for the facing, I will join them at the shoulder area. So I'll pin them together and I'll just join at the shoulder area. So for the main bodies, I will join at the shoulder area. Then all the dart points that I located, I'll go ahead and take the dart on it. So after that, this is what I have. So I went ahead to iron it out. So I opened the seam at the shoulder. So the joining I have at the shoulder, I opened it up on both the main bodies and the facing. So I opened it up. Then I'll place the facing like this on it. Then I'll go ahead and start with the neckline first. So I will sew the neckline round. I'll sew the neckline round. Then after sewing it round, I will top stitch again on the facing. So after that, I'll now go ahead and sew the armhole area. So I'll first sew the neckline. So after sewing the neckline, I will top stitch before moving over to the armhole. So this is the neckline after sewing. So I'll go ahead and top stitch. Please notch before you top stitch. So notch every part before you top stitch. So I went ahead to sew the armhole area, and as you can see that I'm notching every part of it. I'm notching every part of it. So I'm cutting away this joining at this shoulder area so that this part will not be bulky. So I'm trimming off the joining at that area. Then I'll flip this to the right side. So I'll flip this over. Then I'll go ahead and iron this. So I'll go ahead and give this a good press. So after ironing, this is what the neckline and the armhole looks like. So I'll move over to the zipper area at the back, and for this zipper area, I'll just be making a small joining at the lower part here. This is because this is quite short, so if I make any joining that is very high, it will be tight for me to wear this dress. So I'll just a little bit, just about 1 inch. So that was what I sew here, just about 1 inch. So I will sew the zipper allowance that I have there, which is 1 inch. So I will sew it right there. So after sewing that part, I will also join it by the side, and after joining, this is what it looks like. So this is what the back look like. So I'll go ahead and fix the zipper right now. So I'll go ahead and fix the zipper, and after fixing the zipper, this is what I have. So I have a little bit excess at this lower part here, so I'll be cutting it off. So this is what I have. So now the upper part of this dress is ready, so it's now time to work on the lower part. As you can see how neat this is and how perfect it looks. So it's time to work on the lower part. So for you to get the length of the lower part, you need to know the length of this blouse. So this is the pattern I drafted. You know, I took out 5 inches upward here, so that's what I'm trying to locate. Then from the shoulder area, I will measure it down there. So I have 20.5. If you remember, this full pattern was 25 inches. So after removing the 5 inches, I have 20.5. So depending on how long you want the gown to be. So the gown is actually a floor length, like it's a very long. So if you want it to be very long, just determine the length. Then you deduct the 20.5, that is the upper part of the dress, away from it. So whatsoever you have there should be the length of your gathers, and measure from this shorter part. Please don't make mistake of measuring the longer part. Measure this shorter part. So now this is the fabric I'm using, so I went ahead to cut it, and this is about times 3 of the waist area. So I will measure it now and you will see what I'm trying to say. So this is about times 3 of it. So this is what it looks like. So this is the upper part. So when I measured round here, so the gathers I have there, when I measured like this, I think I have about 18 inches. So 18 inches times 2, that's 36. So for this fabric here, I have 3 yards of my I have 3 yards of the fabric, that is the lower part. So that's times 3 of the of this black, like the opening of this black part. So it is times 3. So at least you should have times 3 or times 2.5 if you don't have times 3. So when I measured round this black, I have 36. So 18 at the front, 18 at the back, that's 36. And for this, I went ahead to make the gathers. I made the gathers on it. Then I'll be fixing it. Like I said earlier, the lower part is 3 yards. I'm using 3 yards, exactly 3 yards of my fabric, and the length is the remaining length of my gown. So I use 60 inches for my gown length, so 20.5 for the upper part. Then the remaining part of the measurement was for the gathers, these gathers that I have here. So I'm just pinning this down at the center front, center back, and also by the side. Then after joining, this is what the gown looks like. It looks really, really pretty. It came out perfect. I love this material that I use so well. It's blended in into it. As you can see that the material has different shades of color, so it's blended in. So for this lower part, if you like, you can leave it slant like this, or you can cut it to be equal. Because of this design at the lower part, I'm not cutting mine. I'll just leave it like that. So this is what the gown looks like, and this is what it looks like on the mannequin. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.